My name is Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia with you today. This is the Alamo City Sports Cast coming at you from San Antonio, Texas. If you want to be part of the show, you can reach out to us, subscribe to us on YouTube. You can leave a comment. We read them in real time. Again, this show is not dated. If you listen to us at noon, 2 p.m., 5 p.m. on the way home from work, it's going to be fresh because we don't date what we do. We're available on all the major podcast platforms from iHeart app to Google Podcasts, to Apple Play, and all of that stuff.
All
Spotify, all the major ones.
Floor.
Joe Garcia already laughing at some of the comments coming in.
Chris Leha, man.
So one of the things that we're doing right now is we have that 2-minute bump or whatever it is to kind of intro, get people ready for the show. The other day, we accidentally had our mics hot, and people started commenting on it all. And I thought, you know what? That's a fun way to start the show, where it's a show before the show.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a behind the scenes type of thing.
Just shooting the shit.
Yeah. And you saw me kind of coming on in today because I was calling these going, dude, I will be there right at 10:30. I'm next to the Burger Boy. I'm a minute from your house. Go ahead and turn the timer on. I'll be there. And then you turned it on.
Yeah. The funny thing is I didn't even pay attention to the time because I was busy getting the notes and stuff ready to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, it's going to be 10:30. It's going to be time to roll.
Let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. Hey, quick question for all of you sports fans out there. How many of y'all woke up this morning and went, Spurs won? What? Late night game? Nationally broadcast last night, Spurs taking on the Phoenix Suns, and it was looking bad early. In fact, at some point, the Spurs were down 20 points. Late in the third quarter, they were down 17. And a lot of people woke up this morning and saw that the Spurs won 115 to 114.
Uh-huh.
What the hell happened?
You know what? The casuals went to bed early, dude. They turned it off and said,
the fucking Spurs are gonna lose again, blah blah blah.
I saw what was going on I saw all the chatter on Twitter, on the Facebook groups. The Spurs official Facebook group had a bunch of people in there already complaining.
The Spurs are gonna lose again. This game's over.
This and that. You can never say that until the very, very end.
Well, I mean, I understand why they would say that because it wasn't looking good. But something happened. There was a switch that turned on late in the third quarter.
Oh, no. Coach Pop actually decided he wanted to win this fucking game and woke the fuck up and put a lineup out there, the closers, that actually played a lot better.
Well, we got to talk about the lineup that brought them back, and then we got to talk about the lineup that closed, because when the Spurs were down by 17 points late in the third, the lineup that brought the team back to like 6 or 7 points was Tre Jones at point, Devin Vassell at the 2, C.D. Osman at the 3, Doug McDermott at the 4, and Wemby at the 5. That is what brought the Spurs back, and they started playing a 2-3 zone.
Yeah. They confused the Suns.
They confused the Suns. Dude, the look on the faces of the Suns fans and the booing that was there.
Do you like the look of Kevin Durant at the end?
Okay, so for those of you who didn't watch, Spurs down 17 points, come roaring back, and I'm like, oh my God, they brought it within 5. And then what does Pop do? He takes Tre Jones out. All of a sudden, Suns back up by 10, right? You put Tre Jones back in, and then all of a sudden, the comeback started again.
Not only with Tre Jones, but he took out Sohan. He put Shetty Osman, right?
Yeah.
He put him in. He had Dougie McBuckets in there.
Mm-hmm.
You had Wemby playing the 5. He was playing the center, you know?
Small ball plus Wemby.
And they started looking good. And you know what the funny thing was? I give Keldon Johnson a lot of shit because sometimes not a lot of times, but sometimes he's a liability on defense.
Yeah.
He got burned a couple of times by Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant's a really good player.
It's who he is. He's top 15 all time.
Really great player, but he still stuck with it. And at the end of the day, Keldon Johnson's a dog. He went in there, he stole that fucking ball right out of Kevin Durant's hands.
Lots of things to digest when it comes to this. First of all, I know that I've been all about Tre Jones this year. And Tre Jones, second-round draft pick from a couple of years ago. And he was a defensive liability early on with the Spurs. But this year, I don't know what he has done to improve his defense. He is just more aggressive. He's picking people's pockets. His transition defense has been just as good as his transition offense. And like I said earlier, man, people coming after me on Twitter right now saying, Dude, it's a small sample size, man. Sohan has only been out there for 4 games. They're making it sound like Tre Jones is some grizzled vet. Tre Jones is 23 years old.
Yeah, he's not 32, 33.
Yeah,
Come on,
you know,
man.
they're saying Sohan has the higher ceiling. How do you know it's not Tre Jones?
You know
the
what?
Dude's 23 years old.
You know what Sohan's ceiling is? And Spurs fans are going to have to come to the realization of this bullshit because I get tired of, oh, what's his ceiling? Oh, he's going to be the best player.
He's
you know,
not.
Look, his ceiling is fucking Bruce Bowen. That's his ceiling. He's going to be able to be really good defensively. He's going to be able to go out on the wing, hit a couple threes here and there when the Spurs need it. He's going to be a really good role player. I'm not dogging him or saying he's an awful player. He's not by any means. He's going to be an instrumental piece. But at the end of the day, he's not going to be all-star material.
He's not going to be an all-star.
No.
And we have, as Spurs fans, need to understand that is the case. He is not going to be an all-star. But keep in mind, I'm taking a look right now at the past drafts of the Spurs. When did the Spurs get Tre Jones? They got Tre Jones in the second round of 2020, the same year they got Devin Vassell. That is a great draft class right there. Vassell and Tre Jones. Sohan is going to have a long career. He's going to be out there for 10, 12 seasons. He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
He's Boris Diaw, dude.
Yeah. Or Bruce Bowen.
He's not Kawhi Leonard.
No.
He's Boris Diaw. The question is, can Tre Jones be Tony Parker? Because remember, before this game against the Clippers, they got their asses handed to them, lost by 40 points. Tre Jones was out there for 20 minutes, 20 of the 48 minutes.
Yeah.
His plus minus was 0, which means that they were not outscored magically when he was out there. Last night had the highest plus minus yet again for the Spurs. There's just something about him out there, and it's beyond the offense. And I'll tell you what, Sohan is so slow in bringing the ball up the court. There's no transition offense.
He's not comfortable.
He's not comfortable. And then he has to pivot on defense and try to guard Durant, or pivot on defense and try to guard Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
No, it's too much to ask of a 20-year-old, and it's not his natural position. And I don't care if he can get better at it. The fact of the matter is that how long is it going to take? He's not going to get better this year at it. So what you're telling me is that you're okay, Pop is okay, and those who agree with Pop on all this, that you are okay with throwing away Wemby's rookie year. F him, right? F his rookie year, right? That's what we're saying.
You know what? Wemby, he shouldn't do that to Wemby because Wemby right now, he's balling.
Yeah.
He's going to be an all-star if Coach Pop doesn't fuck it up. You know, if he lets him play, he continues to give him minutes, he continues to give him the ball, he's going to wind up being an all-star this season, in his rookie season. But sometimes Coach Pops just gets cute with the lineups. That's all we're saying. And, you know, it's just not conducive to Jeremy Sohan's career to keep on running him out there and as a guard.
Yeah.
No.
Sohan cannot play point and then try to guard the best guy defensively. He is not that skilled to do that. He is not. And I don't care if he's 20 years old. When is he going to be able to do that? What, the final year of Wemby's contract? Tre Jones is a point guard. That is what he does. And defensively, look at what he was doing at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, transition defense, deflecting Durant's passes, deflecting other passes that were going out there, picking people's pockets. That's what you need out of a point guard. You need a gnat out there. And people already reaching out saying Westbrook pushed Tre around, or Tre Jones is too small to go against a top point guard. And was Tony Parker big? No, he wasn't. You just play with what you've got, man.
Exactly.
That's you play with what you got. Sohan is not as good defensively to take on a point guard. He is not. He's not. Is he going to stop Kyrie? No. Is he going to stop a top-tier point guard? No. So don't give me any crap about whether Tre Jones gets bodied by Russell Westbrook. He's also young, but look at where he is now. I don't want to see Tony Pollard play quarterback.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to see him do that. It's not his position.
You're going to get Dicker the kicker to go ahead and play quarterback?
Matt Lerma says, I guess Jimenez can't see the master plan. The master plan that I see is this failing and Wemby leaving because of it. And us still having an 80-year-old head coach. That is the master plan. By the way, Keldon Johnson balled out in the fourth quarter, got that big steal. Okay, so was there a foul on Durant? There was. But should it have been called? No.
They let
The
them play.
referees let them play.
Yep.
And that is on the coaching staff of the Phoenix Suns, because when they saw that they were not going to give him a call, they should have called timeout and advanced the
That's
ball.
on the coach.
They didn't. That is on the coach. Keldon Johnson, presence of mind of just stripping the ball away, taking it to the hole, hanging up in the air for a good second or so, and then tossing it in. Amazing. I have video on Twitter right now. My sister sent it to me of my nephews watching the game. She recorded them watching the last minute 15 of the game, and them just going bonkers inside the house. Absolutely amazing. It was a great night for Spurs fans out there. Keldon Johnson showing that he deserves that starting role. He is thriving, not being the face of the team. Keldon Johnson last night, 27 points on 10 of 20 shooting, 4 of 9 from 3. Zach Collins finally woke up out of his funk, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 6 of 11 shooting. Victor Wembanyama finally turned it up. Wemby's a fourth quarter guy. He's a fourth quarter guy, 18 points, 6 of 12 shooting, also had 8 rebounds. Devin Vassell, 18 points, knocked down 3 threes, but take a look at this, man. Tre Jones last night. The stats are not gaudy, man. 10 points, right? But he shot 3 of 4, very efficient. 3 assists, 2 rebounds. But when he was on the court, the Spurs were plus 13.
He was 3 of 4 from field goal range, 75% overall for the game. Perfect from the stripe, 4 for 4. You know, so I mean, he was actually doing great out there as far as running the point guard, running the offense.
Tre Jones is shooting 52% from the field on the season. For a point guard, that is very good. You add the fact that he's knocking down 3-pointers at a decent clip. His effective shooting percentage is probably around 55, 56%. Jeremy Sohan, by the way, we got to talk about this. Sohan's averaging 8 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on 38.7% shooting. When you have a 6'8" guy shooting 38.7% from the field, it's basura, dude.
That's Coach Pop having him run the point, man.
And I don't want to blame him this year. I was hard on him last year.
It's not his fault.
Last year, okay, I took it too far a little bit. I admit it. But this year, not on him. It's not on him. And if people think that there's some master plan, dude, that just shows you that Pop ain't it anymore, dude. The Spurs didn't win last night because of Pop. The 2 games that they won despite Pop. Keldon Johnson balled out, man. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Tre Jones. I'm proud of Devin Vassell. His 18 points. Reggie Miller talking up Devin Vassell, saying, man, Vassell looks smooth.
Look at your nephews in
He
there.
looks smooth. Oh, my nephew Jacob. Uncle Mike, you're going to go and just ratio me with my own video. Nice. I don't even think he knew he was being recorded.
Probably not. That was just pure emotion.
Yeah, it was
raw.
It was raw emotion, baby. It's raw emotion. Hand of a fist saying big win in the last minute.
Yeah, it was.
You know, Matt Lerma says, I don't know how much clearer the Spurs can say they see Tre as the backup than to start Sohan over him. It's called hubris, dude. It's excessive pride is what it is. Pop thinks that he's playing chess. He's not. He's setting up somebody to fail. Spurs play the Phoenix Suns again, but this time at the Frost Bank Center. Are they going to be able to go tell the Suns to go frost themselves? Or is Phoenix going to come back angry, come into our building? Imagine if the Spurs won that game, win this game coming up against the Suns, go 3-2, have back-to-back wins over Phoenix. What that would do for the confidence. And I know Devin Booker wasn't playing.
Look at Tavares.
I get it.
Look at. He's saying Coach Pop said he's not changing the lineup. He said that before the game.
Yeah, I had somebody reach out to me on Twitter earlier today saying, Jimenez, enough with the plus minus. Enough with the plus minus. Of course, Tre Jones is doing well. He plays with the backups. And I'm like, what game are you watching? Okay, because the idea that Tre Jones doesn't play against starters is stupid. If you're on the court for 24 to 36 minutes out of the game, you're playing against starters. This isn't middle school. I referee high school and middle school basketball. Middle school basketball, they get their starters, right? They play them for a quarter, and then they remove them, and then they bring in another 5, and it's backups against backups. That doesn't happen in the NBA.
Nope.
Starters play starters the first 4 to 5 minutes of each half. After that, It's 3 starters and two reserves, or 3 reserves and 2 starters. That's how it goes.
And just because you have the backup unit out there doesn't mean that they're not going to be playing against the starting unit of the opposing team. That happens in the switches, in the timeouts. It's part of the game. And you know what? Yesterday, watching this game, TNT, one of the announcers, I think it was Reggie Miller or somebody else, they had brought up an interesting point, something I think me and you had talked about briefly as well. They said, it doesn't matter where Keldon Johnson starts. If he's a starter, great. If he comes off the bench, it doesn't freaking matter.
He's going to get his minutes.
He's going to get his minutes. He's going to be playing against the other starting unit on the opposing team. And the best thing about it is said, you know what? If he does come off the bench, look at what Coach Pop can do with him. Have him as one of your closers.
Exactly. I mean, I think Keldon Johnson, the fact that he's no longer going to be the highest paid Spurs player helps. The fact that Wemby's out there getting attracting attention, the fact that Devin Vassell has blossomed, it's making it easier for Keldon to do what he does. But the fact of the matter is that Tre Jones has played 4 games for the Spurs this season, because the Spurs have only played 4 games, and he's had a positive plus minus in 3 of those games, and in that 40-point blowout was a 0.
Yeah. Look at what Tavares says. Why is Wemby resting so early? Seems strange. It's because he was averaging about 36 minutes, I think, when he was with the EuroLeague.
Yeah. Coach
Coach Pop right now has Wemby right around the 32-minute mark, 30-minute mark.
A little bit less than that. A little bit less than that. He's
He
at 28 minutes last night. They brought him in crunch time.
Yeah.
He was getting flat-footed blocks, for crying out loud. He got that putback dunk. There was an assist that he had where it looked like he was going to shoot a 3, and he saw a player. He saw Vassell or somebody. He saw Tre Jones going on in, and he threw the ball inside. Contact made, sent him to the free throw line. It was heady play. There was a big IQ that he had.
Yeah, he's a gifted passer for a big man.
Yeah.
He can see the floor really well. And he runs the floor really good when they're in the open court.
It's like David Robinson out there.
Man.
I mean, shades of David Robinson. He's not as good as David Robinson running up the court, but not bad.
For a 7'3" guy running up the court the way he does, that's unreal, man. Wemby, he's the truth, bro. He's the truth.
Keldon Johnson with averaging 17.3 points per game, which is less than what he did last year, but it's a more efficient, shooting 45% from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, Keldon Johnson is somebody who's getting a little bit better. Look at his 3-point shooting, 38%, right? I rounded up a bit, 38%. If you're north of 36, you're doing your job. You're doing your job.
Yeah, look at John Williams. So let's go Rangers. Bring the title home.
We'll-
Pinche Rangers a la verga.
We'll talk about the Rangers in a moment, but let's go on a little bit more about the Spurs, man, because I was talking to Jeff Garcia on Locked On Spurs about this team and about what do you want from this team after 10 games. And for me, I want a 5-5 record.
Okay.
If the Spurs can go 5-5, because the schedule's relatively brutal, man. It really is. The Spurs right now have the Suns coming up tomorrow. They've got the Raptors coming to town.
I'm not scared about the Raptors, man.
They've got the Pacers, the Knicks, the T-Wolves, the Heat. Then you have the Thunder, the Kings, and the Grizzlies. It doesn't get easy for the Spurs at all. I mean, towards Thanksgiving, they have a back-to-back against the Clippers again. So Spurs,
man, that Kings game, man. Those Kings have played the Spurs tough.
Yeah, but they're a little bit beaten up, man. They've got some injuries going on.
I know they do, but I'm just saying that's a pretty gifted team right there, the Kings.
Tim Gonzalez with the baby Spurs. That was being told yesterday by that national broadcast yesterday. It wasn't the baby Spurs that won that game. It was the baby Spurs that put them over the top.
Yeah.
But it was C.D. Osman. It was Doug McDermott. It was players like that.
Leadership, man.
It was the veterans who came in at the end of the third quarter. And I don't want to hear crap about, this just shows the brilliance of Pop. Nonsense, man. BS. Like, Pop designed it. You know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to get down by 17 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter and make this big run. That's what's going to happen. The players won that game. They're winning despite Pop, not because of him.
Look at this. This shit has me laughing, dude. Tavares.
Grab a rebound, Zach.
Zach Collins. Oh, man. What do you say about him, dude? He's been booty crumbs, bro. Booty crumbs.
There is reports out there that Zach Collins was sick the first week of the season. He was fine yesterday. He played decent yesterday.
He had 14 points.
There was this one move that he did where the ball was inbounded to him, and Wemby was calling for it, but Zach was like, "Nah, I got it." And he lost control of the ball, regained it, and did like a baby hook from the side of the basket, and it was nothing but net. And I was like, "Ooh, I hadn't seen that one."
Maybe he
before.
should go to that move a little bit more.
I hadn't seen because it was so confident the way that he went up with it.
Yeah,
that I was like, "Man, that's good, dude. That's good."
Look at Chris Leah.
Read it.
Zach is ass as fuck. Send him and Jimenez to China.
Thanks.
You know what? They're giving you shit because of blood sport. Like, calm the fuck down, bro. Like,
I mean, it's okay.
oh
Blood sport. Blood sport.
With Jean-Claude Van Damme, bro.
I've never seen a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
You got to watch it. And
I've seen TikToks where they show highlights. By the way, we'll be bringing
it's
back.
really good.
We'll be bringing back the movie review on Monday. I don't know if it's going to be every Monday, but
maybe during the week sometime.
A nostalgic review, and someone mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme movies as though I knew what the hell they were. And then my response back after all of that was, I never saw an episode of Knight Rider either. A talking car didn't do it for me
And
growing
Jeff
up.
saw cook him,
roast him, put him on a spick, roast him.
Be
rotisserie
honest.
style.
Tell the people what they act like. You know, you were just like in this little bubble, and you were never allowed to watch movies. But tell them why you weren't
well
around to watch those movies.
Part of it
TV
was my
series.
parents. You know, they there was restrictions as to what I could watch. But to be completely honest with you, like I remember growing up and seeing my friends. I mean, I'm born in 77, so growing up would be like 82 through 86, elementary age. My friends were really into like Star Wars. They were into Transformers and stuff like that. And the idea of playing with toys, I thought was weird. Like even as a child, my parents didn't tell me don't watch Star Wars. They didn't tell me don't play with Transformers. I was just like, I would look at it going, I have no interest in any of this. What I would do, people ask the question, what would I watch? I would turn on WWOR, watch the Mets because I really like Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden.
Hey,
I would turn on TBS and watch Dale Murphy and the Braves. I would turn on WGN and watch Sean Dunston, who's now going to be in the Hall of Fame, Mark Grace, and the Hawk Andre Dawson. I'd watch Cubs games. I would watch Spurs games. I would watch Oilers games and Cowboys games.
Yeah.
Ever since I was little, I was a big sports guy. And my whole life revolved around watching sports. And if I wasn't doing that, the only thing that I enjoyed that was kind of kids related was video games. Like video games, dude. I mean,
get down with some video games.
I would get down with video games. Me and my friend Joseph, he'd go to my house, I'd go to his house. We'd have the Nintendo or the Sega or the 2600, 5200, whatever.
Yeah.
And we would throw down on video games all the time. And that's what I like, sports and video games.
Yeah. Well, I think the day was filled with pendejadas. Let's be honest. When you're young and you're a kid and you grew up in the 80s, what were you doing? You're on the streets, you're with your boys, you're playing sports, you're riding bikes, you're jumping,
riding bikes,
wooden ramps, doing all sorts of stupid shit out there.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like to go play sports.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to go outside and play basketball,
football,
go play Little League and all that stuff. And then go to like birthday parties and see my friends get like, you know, He-Man, and I'm going to go and do all this stuff. And I look at them and go, yeah, it does nothing for me. That does nothing for me. Keep that in the box. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything for me.
So his next review is going to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. We'll probably start you off with one of the classics.
Yeah, they're telling me to do Bloodsport.
Okay, we can go with that.
Okay, so first of all, I gave a good review to Chuck Norris's. What movie was that? I forgot what movie that was.
Oh, was it Delta Command or
Delta
like
Force?
Delta Force, that's
there
what it
you
was. With like you make fun of the bike with the motorcycle that had the little tubes at the front.
Yeah,
it shoots and the missile.
It actually had a good plot, and then it got silly towards the end. But but I didn't mind it. I gave Chuck Norris movies a good review. Okay, but Big Trouble in Little China is the worst review I've ever given. That and Warriors were the two movies where I was like, nah, man, this is not it.
Clink, Warriors
come out to play. That, you know what? I give that some props right there because that is creepy AF, dude.
Yeah, you're a weird cat, dude. You like movies, but you're not necessarily liking everything, and you're really honest. I like it. I like it. If I don't like it, this is why I hate it.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't matter what other people think.
Jonathan C. asking an interesting question, saying, Jimenez, who is your favorite sports personality, whether it be a reporter or a show host or a play caller? All right, that's a good question. And I want Joe to answer this question also. Mike Breen, as an announcer. As far as like radio or TV, I like a lot of the radio guys. I'm a big fan of Dan Le Batard. When I was in Phoenix for Super Bowl Radio Row early this year, and I bumped into Stu Gatz, and I just looked at him, and I know his name is not Stu Gatz, right?
Yeah.
But that's what we all know him as, right? I remember I was getting a drink, and he was right next to me, and I was like, Stu Gatz? And he goes, hey, man, how's it going? He was really nice and had a drink with me, and when I thought I was going to get a drink, it just, that'd be it.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, let's go hang out over here, and we went off to the side, and it was him and Billy Gill.
Good people, man.
Good people. Now, the one thing about Le Batard shows that got way too political. And even if I do support a lot of what they say, I just don't want to hear politics when it comes to sports. Unless the politics actually involves the sports.
Yeah.
But I love Dan Le Batard. I think Colin Cowherd's a genius.
He's very intelligent.
Yeah. And, I was thinking about it yesterday. I had an epiphany yesterday.
Yeah.
Lots of things went through my head yesterday as I was passing out candy. I want to get back into the media in more and more. That's why I'm here today. I want to get back into it more and more because I like to stir the pot, and it's just I'm not saying that it's a gift, but what I am saying is that it's something that I tend to do decently from time to time.
Yeah. Do you know who my favorite sports announcer of all time is?
What's
or
that?
The play-by-play guys. I used to love listening to the great John Madden and Pat Summerall.
Okay, yeah.
Man, that was iconic, dude. It was like, it made you feel like you were at home, especially during like Thanksgiving. You hear the great John Madden with his turducken. I miss that kind of stuff, man. They don't have that anymore.
Man, if we're going back in time and talking about things that we miss, I miss the old Sports Center. This was before, when you had only 50 channels or 60 channels, and if it's sports, you were listening and watching ESPN. And, you had everybody from Dan Patrick to Craig Kilborn. Man, Craig Kilborn did it for me. Stuart Scott, Linda Cohn, who's still around.
Yeah.
But you go back in Charlie Steiner and all of those guys. That was great. I used to love the sports reporters, which would come out on Sunday morning. It was kind of like, Mike Lupica and Mitch Albom.
Yeah.
And Saunders and all that. That was good times. We'll never have that again. I am starting to like, oh my God, I always forget his name. The black wife beater.
Oh,
why do I always forget his name? Well, I always forget his name. Someone's gonna put it up there. The new guy over at ESPN, he was a podcaster. I saw him when I was at Radio Row.
I can't remember the name, but
Pat McAfee.
The Pat McAfee show.
Yeah,
you know what?
So I'm digging him more and more.
He's the new face. And you know what? The one thing I do like about him is that he's a man of the people. He's not afraid to mix it up with the peoples, man. He gets out there. He gets the crowd going. He's more animated than your normal ESPN personality.
He was too necio on the podcast.
Yeah, no, now he's controlled. He's
like a controlled necio.
Yeah,
right. It's like it's controlled. It's a good balance, and a lot of people don't like it. And I'm like, well, screw you, boomers, dude. I mean, just no, man.
Look at this one. I haven't heard this one in
Chris
a while.
Berman.
Chris Berman.
He could go all the way. The only one to be with you, Hootie and the Blowfish video.
Yeah.
I
look at my boy from Star Wars Stuff podcast. Sports reporters were great because he's referring to
that show
back
Sunday mornings, 9:30.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic show.
Somebody had asked me a question. They said, John Williams, he's watching here. Shout out to you, John Williams. He says, Joe, air hockey or Pac-Man?
Oh,
well, look, man, that's a hard one for me because I like them both.
I like them both too.
I love playing air hockey. Every time I was at the arcade, especially as a kid, you're always going down on the air hockey table, man.
Yeah, the air hockey table was interesting, but it had to be like when you twirled it around. Well, are you talking about the one where you have the puck?
The puck.
Okay, I'm thinking of the ones where you have the rotating.
That's foosball.
No, well, no, but the hockey version of it
Oh
all.
yeah.
They had it's kind of like the hockey version
hockey
of
rink.
foosball,
Yeah.
but they had that over at Malibu. So and
Yeah.
the castle.
Yeah.
Dude, don't get me started about Malibu and the castle, dude. Though that was great
Classic,
times
dude.
over there. So many birthday parties that I had or that I attended were out there.
Yeah. They had the Malibu Grand Prix, and then right next to it or behind it was the castle.
It was the castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to do both.
And they had the bumper boats.
Dude, the bumper boats, that water was like slime.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it in your mouth, and someone would spray you with it in your face.
Get in the eye. It burns.
It burns. No, but Malibu Castle was so much fun, man. And I remember, so back in 2014, 2015, I was a news producer over at Ken's 5. Now, I was in the media for a long time, from like 96 to 2005. I was in TV news and in TV sports. And a friend of mine challenged me to go back into the media for a year. He was like, hey, man, do you think you're a dinosaur in TV news? And I was like, well, maybe. Ken's 5 ended up hiring me as a producer. And one day, there was an announcement that Malibu Castle was going to close. And we got a one-page fax from them. And they're telling me about all these stories that they wanted to run. You know, this shooting, this fire, this whatever. What are we going to lead with, Michael? Because it was my show on the weekends. And I said I wanted a reporter to do a story on the legacy that is Malibu Castle. Or the castle.
Yeah.
And they thought that I was joking. And I said, no, this is a massive story. All those shootings, we have shootings every day. We have fires every day.
Yeah, we do.
This is an iconic place that a lot of people between the ages of 25 to 55 know exactly about this
part of
place.
San Antonio history.
And I told him, I said, look, here's how we're going to find this out. At Ken's 5, at least at the time, if you put something up on social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter, you could count how many times it was shared or commented on. And I said, post at Malibu Castle, the castle's closing, and see what happens. Within 1 hour, it had more views, more retweets, more shares than all the other stories that Ken's had done that day combined. And I said, that is the story that we need to have a reporter go off to. And it became a thing, dude. And it was so funny because that night when the ratings came in, you come in the next morning to see what the ratings were.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for them to give me crap about why are you leading with Malibu? Dude, no, we promoted the hell out of it. And it was monster ratings. At the time, KSAT was getting the ratings against my show. But that day, dude, we beat the living crap out of KSAT.
They didn't run that story. That's their fault.
And if they did, it was like a 5-second, 15-second read.
Yeah.
You know, we blew it up, man. We did it right.
Hey, somebody, man, and this is a thing.
Oh, wait, real fast. But was that story Dan Cook approved? Quick story about Dan Cook. I worked at Ken's 5 from 1998 to 1999, so about a year and a half. And Dan Cook would always steal my money. He would set up a golf course inside the newsroom, and he'd ask me to play $1 a hole, and I would lose all the time.
And he's a
He'd
hustler.
want me to play quarters, like throw a quarter up against the wall. It has to bounce off the wall. Whoever's closer gets the quarter. I lost like $3 a day to Dan Cook for a good while there. And then I was also in charge for 1 year of doing the eyewitness newsreel, which is timed, you know.
Yeah.
He would say a joke, it was a setup, and then the soundbite would happen, all that stuff. But that was manually edited. And dude, Maru would give that to me at 10 o'clock right before the show started and would want it ready at 10:28. And I'm looking at him going, dude, there's like 45 edits I got to do, you dick. But I would get it done.
Yeah.
I would get it done.
Somebody had brought up, they said that, look at this.
Tim Gonzalez saying, remember as a kid growing up on Saturday football and listening to the late, great Keith Jackson, or as he would say, I'm Keith Jackson.
Yeah. And they got a, man, this is a shout out here. This is a throwback because I used to go here a lot as a kid because I grew up on the south side of town.
Yeah.
Fun town, bro. Fun town.
Dude, okay, I'm not going to say that I went to Fun Town a lot, but I did go. They had pretty good, if I'm not mistaken, they had pretty nice batting cages out there.
They had batting cages and
And
a nice arcade.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I have been out there. Okay, so I don't want you to think that I stay north of exit 7, north of 410.
You didn't go past your boundaries.
Dude. I mean, I was telling somebody the other day about how growing up, we had church on the west side, right? So
Yeah.
the church was on Jewett Street, off of like General McMullen. So that whole Las Palmas area, my friend Ronald lived out there. We'd go out there. Tacos Martinez on West Commerce. I mean, we were all about that life. All about that life. Mario Cavasso saying puro pinche almond joy. Dude, I'm 5 almond joys in, baby. Not 5 big packets, but the little ones. I love almond joy.
That shit, bro. Almond joy, man. You know what? If you hate somebody, you give them an almond joy, bro.
Dude, my daughter got them all and gave them to me. It's like my Christmas gift. I love almond joy. I had a baby Ruth the other day, yesterday, for the first time. Dude, I gave up so much candy. Hey, I'll tell you something about Halloween yesterday. I have new neighbors next door. They're very, very nice. And I had not known any of my neighbors in the past 15 years.
Yeah.
But they're very, very nice. And we were out there. He was giving me beer last night, and he made me a pulled pork sandwich. Some Jello shots and whatnot.
Damn, that's some good neighbors.
But I was telling him that my street, most houses kind of face each other, right?
Yeah.
But I live on the top of a hill where the neighbors in front of me, the house is like sideways to me. So when I look outside my door, I see their big backyard. And so there's like so there's when people park along the side there, they're not blocking any houses. So I told my neighbor, I said, here's what's going to happen. The first people that are going to show up are not from our neighborhood. You have people from other sides of town who want to trick or treat for whatever reason. Okay, maybe it's safer, maybe it's whatever, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's more homes that are giving away stuff, and you can tell that they're not from the neighborhood, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I love it. I could tell you that's like the biggest joy that I have on Halloween, because those who come over and they're not from our side of town are super respectful. They're all dressed up. Even the parents are dressed up. And it is so great to see them out there. Dude, I would say that in front of my house, probably about 9 cars lined up right there because they're not blocking any houses. And I swear out of those 9 cars, 50 kids came out.
Damn.
Dude,
That's brutal.
One of them was an F-250 with a super cab.
Oh,
and the extended bed.
You fit about 20.
Dude. I don't know if it's legal. Dude, that's one thing I don't see anymore. Riding in the bed of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
Is that allowed? Is that illegal?
You can do it, but you have to be over a certain age.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what we got to do? We got to go ahead and give a shout out to our boy Jeff Garcia of the Locked On Spurs podcast, and hopefully this time the video works. We'll hear the audio.
Let's make it happen.
Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow, not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Very nice. Jeff Garcia, daily content of your San Antonio Spurs. And, I love Jeff. He and I disagree, though, when it comes to the whole point guard situation involving the Spurs, man.
I don't know why he's enamored with Jeremy Sohan at the point guard position, man.
I mean, could it be that Sohan is just a guy?
Hey, could it be that somebody's paying Jeff to say this?
Oh, I'm not going there.
Man, he's got to buy more toys for his collection, bro.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stories right now at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter, where he has interviews with various Spurs players. Keldon Johnson saying, quote, "Everybody loses games. Everybody gets blown out. We took that and learned from it." Great soundbite. Again, the daily content. Jeff Garcia, proud sponsor of the Alamo City Sportscast.
Hey, we got another comment here from my boy, Star Wars Stuff. There was a Karen in our neighborhood complaining about people outside the neighborhood last night, and she got owned by everyone on Facebook.
Why would somebody do that?
Who knows, man? I mean, that's just being petty, dude. Like, Halloween's for kids, and it doesn't matter what side of town kids are coming from. They're coming from all sorts of side, all around town, coming to your neighborhood to get candy. It doesn't matter. Halloween night is just for families, for kids to go out and have fun, creating memories. And you know what? It's fun for us as adults because you get to see all the cute little kids coming
Right.
around. You get, I remember when my kids were that age, and it's fun, man. You shouldn't be that person.
And I hate to say it this way. I live in West Bear County, right? I live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Not all neighborhoods are conducive to trick or treating.
Yeah,
they shouldn't suffer because of that. Because a lot of them, you go to certain parts of town, the sidewalks suck. You can't push a stroller on those sidewalks or on those streets, and for one reason or another, there's potholes all over the place. You got jacked up sidewalks. You've got overgrown lawns, and you got maybe people who either
dogs running around,
don't want to give away candy or can't afford to. So if they're going to come to my neighborhood and they're going to be super nice and chat us up and all that stuff, dude, I'm all about it.
Yeah,
it's great, man. It's amazing, and they were nice. And I would say this: yesterday's trick or treating was the best trick or treating and the most number of people than like I've seen since before COVID.
Yeah.
And our next door neighbors, they have 3 kids that are all teenagers, right? They're coming in from New York State, and I could hear their daughters say, "This is a great neighborhood. Like, we've never been able to trick or treat like this," because they lived in a rural area. Now they're in a quasi-urban area because I live in the county.
Yeah.
Or just right along the Bear Medina line. And they're like, "Man, this is great." And it was so nice to see. It really was. And my daughter went out there with her friends and ditched me. She didn't want me following her around.
You're not cool dad no more.
No, I'm not. But I gave away so much candy yesterday. I think I probably threw down about $60 worth of candy.
How many Almond Joys did you buy?
Well, that's the thing. I was trading people for Almond Joys.
Oh,
I'd be like, "I'll give you a Snickers for an Almond Joy." Almond Joy is the thing. Here's what I like. I like Almond Joy of Halloween candy. I like Almond Joy. I like Tootsie Pops.
Oh, God.
The orange one and the blue one and the brown one that no one likes all day, every day.
That's some nasty candy, bro.
And I like the Reese's. Not the little candies, but the cups.
Yeah, I got you. The peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Good. Those are good. Those are good times. Hey, man, let's go ahead and start getting into this talk, dude. We got to talk about some puro pinche Rangers a la verga, dude.
Texas Rangers, man.
They got a
big, man. So I'll be honest with you. I only watched about 4 innings of the game. And by the time I started watching, they were up 10-0.
They were up big early on, but you know what? Credit to the Diamondbacks. They made it a game late.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable down the stretch because I think the score was 11-7, if I'm not mistaken.
It was
11-6.
8th inning, started getting into that 8th, 9th inning.
Yeah, they started 3 runs.
Yeah, it started getting interesting.
Yeah, so I find it interesting that with the World Series, the Texas Rangers now 1 game away from the franchise's first World Series. I'm thinking about it. They're going to take it, aren't they?
Well, here's the thing. Chris Leja's trying to curse the Rangers because
he's an Astros fan.
He's an Astros fan.
He's a butthurt Astros fan.
And by the way, I'm still waiting for my case of beer.
And what I'm going to hear is they're going to win it, and Leja's going to be like, "Yeah, well, we got 2. Shut up. Wasn't this year. Not at all. But last night, the Texas Rangers went out there, and you're not going to lose a lot of games that you're up 10-0 on. Okay, so even though the Diamondbacks made it a game, fact of the matter is that the Rangers did what they had to do without Garcia out for the rest of the World Series, without Scherzer also out for the rest of the World Series. This is a team of destiny, man, and they're a better team than Arizona.
And you know what? The Rangers won yesterday without Garcia. He was out. Aldanis.
Yeah,
he was out. So you know what? That goes to show you that this team is very capable of winning even without some of their starters,
right,
or their stars. So maybe it's a team of destiny. Who knows? I mean, they've won 9 postseason games on the road so far, which is one of the best records so far.
Oh, it's 10 now.
Well, 10 in the postseason, So
in a row.
That's amazing. Better than the Astros.
And I saw a stat that said that if the Forgive me, okay, because the Astros
Dude,
aren't
we
in.
don't say that name around.
They're not in it anymore. It's the Rangers, right? The Rangers have a 10-0 record in the playoffs when they're up 1-0. Like if they go up by one run,
Yeah,
but they don't lose it.
and you know what? The Rangers at least can win a game 7.
Gen Z reaches out to us on our YouTube chat line, says, "Don't get me wrong, I want the Rangers to win tonight, but it'd be more fun if they won it at home." I agree. It'd be more fun to win it at home. But when the Spurs won the title in '99 in New York, it was just fine enough for me. Just get the title, because there's no guarantee that you're going to win a game 6 or a game 7. That's the thing about baseball, man. Baseball has very little momentum going in either direction. I mean, every game is a different thing. Jonathan C says Rangers had to be scared putting in non-starting pitchers. Can't take the foot off the gas. That's the thing about the Rangers, man. They've got injured pitchers. But it's okay to have injured pitchers, and you have middle relievers going out there if you're putting up 10, 11 runs. Okay?
Chris Leha. Fuck you, Jimenez. If the Astros had won, you wouldn't have not shut up about them cheating.
Okay. Well, it's because they cheated. They cheated. Hey, speaking of cheating, we didn't have this on the rundown today. In fact, we didn't have a rundown. I just walked in and we just started talking.
We're just freestyling.
Have you seen that story involving the University of Michigan?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, so the University of Michigan is accused of cheating. And okay, so first of all, it's a hardball. And hardballs are cheaters. That's what they do. So they are accused of stealing signs and stealing this, that, and the other. But beyond that, there is belief and there's video that ESPN's running. They played Central Michigan. Think about that. They played Central Michigan.
Wow.
There's a belief that one of the coaches of the University of Michigan, the Wolverines, went onto the other side of the field dressed as the opposing team's coaching staff to steal plays and signs.
Hey, look at what Echo Zero says. Everyone cheats. He's not lying, dude. Everybody cheats.
There's bending of the rules. And then there's, I mean, imagine yesterday if somebody from the Phoenix Suns organization dressed in Spurs gear and sat themselves on the Spurs bench to pretend that they were a member of the Spurs staff.
That's a different level of cheating. That's Bill Belichick cheating.
Yeah, and when everyone says everybody cheats, you know what? I broke the law on the way over here. You know why? Because I was driving 42 and a 40. Right? That is against the law.
Yeah.
So when people say everybody cheats, that's like saying that all infractions are equal. Right? That's like saying driving over 2 miles over the limit and committing murder.
Yeah.
Are the same things. Right?
Well, it's like my saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
But there's an acceptable level sometimes of it all.
Yeah, of course.
You know, there's a bending of the rules. There's a spirit of the rule and things like that. And I understand that people try to get an advantage. But when it goes into the integrity of the game,
yeah,
that is completely different, because the integrity of the game should be that both sides have equal chances of winning. You know, if you have people videotaping games and videotaping signs and wearing wires and all of this different stuff and using what's it called, devices and stuff like that to communicate.
Yeah,
that's different than, oh well, there was a sticky substance found on the ball. Okay,
you're going to tell
difference.
me too, like in the MLB, for example, all the people they show behind the pitcher's mound, or not the pitcher's mound, but home plate, right?
Yeah.
All those people, all those fans, you don't think none of those fans are working for the opposing team trying to steal signs? I mean,
well, and here's the thing about stealing signs is actually not against the rules.
I mean, I'm just saying, they're trying to see, wait,
it's like counting. It's like counting cards, right?
Yeah.
Counting cards of poker. But if you are having a coach, not just like some random employee, I was thinking when they said they had somebody on the other side of the field, the University of Michigan, I was thinking that they had like some sort of water boy, some sort of security guard.
Water boy.
But if you are employing a coach to go on to the other side of the field and mix in with the other team to then relay information to your team, That's taking a little bit too far up, man.
Yeah. Look at Chris Leja's in here still talking. It's all cheating. There's no levels to it. It's
Oh, there,
all the
no,
same.
there
Quit
are
crying.
levels to it. There are levels to all sorts of things.
Well, you know what, Chris Leja, for your Astros and their cheating asses, where are they at right now? They at home.
There's absolute levels to everything, right? There is. You've gone a little too far, right? You know, if a girl chats you up at a bar, okay, and you probably shouldn't have flirted for a few minutes. A lot of people think that's cheating, but then there's the opposite of taking that girl home and having sex with her. That's a different type of cheating compared to I flirted with somebody for 30 seconds at a bar.
Yeah. Or you
There's
could have
different types of cheating.
Or you could have sent the girl that says I love that was wearing the shirt I love hot dads a drink, you know?
Which I did not do.
You should have done it.
Which I did not do.
Well, me and Chris Leja just giving you shit for it, dude.
And even if I was in the frame of mind of wanting to do that, why would I have wanted to go out with that girl?
Yeah. No.
I don't understand that.
No, you wanted to go out with army pants.
Yeah.
That was funny talking to a squirrel. Good times. Good
The
times.
adventures at the Stout House.
Yep.
At the Stout. But you know that Michigan story. The question becomes, should, and it's beyond just the guy that is accused of going onto the other side of the field, but there's other things that they are accused of doing as well, stealing signs and doing various things that were not appropriate. Whether or not a Michigan team, who by the way is ranked number 2 in the nation, whether or not they should get a death penalty for it.
Jeez.
And I wouldn't be against it. And then what's Harbaugh going to do? He's going to leave for the NFL, and he's going to leave that dumpster fire burning bright. He's just going to leave.
Hey man, what do you think about this? Because there's been some chatter over here on social media after the Spurs won and they beat, the Suns last night. Spurs fans decided to go on social media in, Facebook and on the X, on what used to be known as Twitter. And they were talking about DeJounte Murray. Oh, DeJounte had 41 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Look at what he's doing. DeJounte's not that guy, man. He's going to have good games here and there. Even when he was with the Spurs and he was putting up, a good performance.
Well, DeJounte was an all-star with the Spurs.
Yeah, he wasn't actually helping the Spurs win a lot of games because of the, the cast that they had around at the time. Had he stayed, maybe things would be a little bit different. But nonetheless, he's moved on. He's doing his thing. But at the end of the day, DeJounte's proved one thing above all else. He's not that guy.
DeJounte right now averaging, even with the 41 points.
Yeah.
Just 21 points per game.
Yeah. He's not that dog. He's not going to get you. Like when the Spurs had the opportunity and they were in a play-in, DeJounte didn't show up at the big moment.
The 41-point game increased his points per game from 14 to 21. So he was averaging 14 points per game prior to that.
Yeah.
He's averaging 4 rebounds and 5 assists. I mean,
I'm happy for the guy.
That's
man. Good for him.
And he's making money.
Yeah.
But if you look at the standings right now, you look at Atlanta, and Atlanta is a bit of a dumpster fire, and that's a good thing for the Spurs because the Spurs have swaps and picks that are not protected coming from the Atlanta Hawks. And I'm trying to take a look at the standings right now.
Spurs fleeced the Hawks, bro.
Well, the Spurs have 2 first-rounders and a swap, I believe, from them, and the potential for a third one if Charlotte is to make the playoffs this year or next year. Charlotte makes the playoffs either of these 2 years, we get their first-rounder as well. But taking a look at the standings right now, it's nice seeing the San Antonio Spurs right now at 2-2. It is so nice to see. But let's take a look right now. In the NBA, there are 3 teams that are undefeated. You've got the Denver Nuggets at 4-0, and you've got the Dallas Mavericks and Boston Celtics also at 3-0. When it comes to the teams that don't have a win, only 2, and both of them in our division. Houston Rockets at 0-3, and the Memphis Grizzlies at 0-4.
I can't say that I feel sorry for the Grizzlies.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Hey, you know what? The other chatter that I saw out here, man, a story, is that the Sixers, they wound up having to cut Danny Green, former Spur Danny Green.
As part of that trade for James Harden.
Yeah, so there's chatter there too with fans saying, hey, you know what? Why don't you bring him home? I'm not opposed to that. It depends
on the rate. It depends on the rate.
Yeah. I mean, like everybody was saying, the one thing about Danny Green is that he understands the Spurs culture. He understands the way the organizations run, and he brings veteran leadership to that locker room.
People giving both of us crap on Twitter, talking about like, well, why would we need veteran leadership? We've got Tim, Tony, and Manu. First of all, Tim lives in San Antonio. Tony and Manu live here part-time. Most of the time, but part-time.
Yeah.
They don't travel with the team. They don't. They're not at every practice. The mentorship that you need sometimes is on the court. And Danny Green is somebody that I believe the Spurs should highly consider to have his jersey retired. We've already set the precedent, man. They're not all going to be all-stars, right? For every Robinson, Gervin, Duncan, Parker, and Manu up there, we have a James Silas, we have a Johnny Moore, we have an Avery Johnson. You know, they're not all going to be all-stars up there. But Danny Green would have been the MVP of the finals in 2013 had Ray Allen missed that shot. Had Greg Popovich, I don't know, had Tim Duncan on the court for that play. Jeez, man. You know, why Tim Duncan wasn't guarding the inbounds guy. Look at yesterday. Wemby, 7'4", 8-foot wingspan, guarding the inbounds pass.
That would have scared the shit out of me. What are you gonna do? How do you even inbound the ball at that point? You know, what do you do? Throw it in the backcourt?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on.
Matt Lerman asking the question, who are you gonna cut for Danny Green? Dude, there's like 6 players on the team that can be cut, dude. We're not all full of lottery players.
Come on, y'all are enamored.
Josh Jimenez, not related to me. Spurs fans want a point guard now, but one of the best in the league is available to trade for. No, don't do it. Let's see what we have. Keep that same energy. We didn't want that guy then. Well, I mean, I don't want to pay $60 million either for Dame Lillard.
No,
that's who he's referring to.
Yeah,
you know, and I didn't want to have James Harden either. I wanted Dame Lillard, right? But who would it have cost? We would then not have Vassell. We would not have Keldon Johnson. We would not have 3 or 4 first-round picks. It would have been giving up the farm. The Spurs have a decent point guard in Tre Jones. Yeah. I mean, I might even say slightly above average. He's 23 years old, and I don't want to hear, oh, well, he's small. Tony Parker was small. What does that have to do with anything? Oh, 6'9" point guards are going to body him up. Okay, well, then put somebody else on him defensively.
Yeah, come with the help defense.
Yeah, he has a 7'4" blocking god behind him, right? He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Look at that. Green don't want to come back. Too many dancers looking for him.
I know. And people giving him so much crap as well, saying that Danny Green was talked crap about San Antonio because it's boring here. It is boring here. It is. I don't know if you understand that, and I know this. I am very, very fortunate in my life because not only have I had a media career, but my financial career kind of takes me all over the place, right? You know, this year alone, I've been to Phoenix. You know, I've been to LA. I've been to Florida, to Tampa. I've been to Philadelphia. I've been to Dallas. I've been to all of these different places this year for my financial gig or my radio gig.
Yeah.
Every single one of those cities was more exciting than San Antonio. We are a boring city. Let's just embrace it and just move on with it.
Yeah, you come over here if you're want to start a family.
Start a family and get away. Get away.
Yeah.
And you're military.
Yeah.
And you want to slow it down a bit. How is it that we're in a city of allegedly 2.5 million people, 3 million if you count the suburbs, and everyone seems to know everybody?
Yeah, that's what happens. You go to Fiesta, it's like a block party. You're going to meet your tios, your tias, your cousins.
We're all related.
Friends.
We're all related.
Yeah.
My dad and I will sometimes drive through the south side or the west side, and my dad will point somebody out and go, that's your uncle. I'm like, how'd that happen?
All random. Hey, that's your uncle.
I think I've counted, according to a family tree that my sister Joanne did. I think I have 76 first cousins.
You know what? I just off the top of my head, this just popped in as a topic that we're going to bring the show, start bringing it to a close here soon. But I want to pose the question. I want you to run a poll on this.
Yeah.
Most dangerous malls in San Antonio. Would you have to go ahead and now put North Star Mall at the top of the list? Hey, man, I'm just saying, Ingram's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Ingram's been pretty quiet.
Dude, okay. I'm glad that you brought that up. R.I.P. Westlake Mall, because it used to be you. So, like, okay, so Westlake's held the title for quite some time. And I think you can say that South Park Mall. I'm going to tell you the two malls I am most scared of.
I know which ones I am.
North Star and River Center.
Oh, bro, River Center, no joke, dude.
Dude, River Center, just the parking garage itself. I'm like on head on a swivel.
You feel like somebody's gonna come get your ass, right?
Yeah, I'm on a swivel over here. So those two, I feel so comfortable walking into Ingram Park Mall. And I'm gonna tell you another one, man, that low key is also kind of
shady.
Is Rolling Oaks.
Yeah, man, Rolling Oaks is a little shady, bro. I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? The same thing could be said for the Wonderland Mall of the Americas. What is it called?
Oh, Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Or
yeah.
it's not called Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderland. I don't think it's sketchy there because it's empty.
It feels spooky, dude. When you go in there, it's just like
it's almost like you walked back into time. Like, is this still? Are we open? Is this open?
You walk in and it's like you walking in and it's like the zombie apocalypse has occurred, and this mall is just stuck in like 1980 something.
Yeah. They had the movie theater back then. I don't think it's around anymore. The Bijou.
The Bijou. Yeah, it used to be Crossroads Theater.
I went there. They always have the artsy movies there. I went there maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I remember watching the movie Whiplash over there, and I was in love with that movie. By the way, Whiplash, speaking of which, is available today on Netflix. And if you haven't seen that movie, J.K. Simmons won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Great movie. Miles Teller is also in the movie. He's amazing, dude. Miles Teller kind of bats 1,000 with me right now. If he's in the movie, chances are I like it. Chris Gonzalez asking the question, is Rolling Oaks empty? Relatively is, dude. I will say this. If your mall had a JCPenney's or a Sears, it's empty.
Yeah.
Okay. Or back in the day, Central Park Mall, Montgomery Ward.
Monkey Wards. Everybody used to call it Monkey Wards, Montgomery Wards.
I had a brother-in-law who was a manager of a Radio Shack, and he would take me to work, and I'd work with him from time to time in the summer. Radio Shack, I explained to my daughter the other day, was like a nerdy Best Buy.
Yeah, it was back in the day, yeah.
Goodness, man.
It was like a KB. It was like the version of Best Buy, but if it was KB Toy Store.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of those stores at the mall, man, back in the day, like you mentioned KB Toys. How is it that when you would walk in at 9 a.m., mall would be opening, everything was perfectly lined up on the shelves. But by like 7 p.m., it looked like there was an earthquake that happened.
Freaking bomb.
Everything is on the floor. Like, who was running this place?
Like a Black Friday.
And who was going? And it's just a random Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's a random Saturday in October, you know? That's funny, dude. That's so funny. I remember they used to have really good bookstores back in the day, like Walden Books and things like that. This was before Barnes and Noble took over.
We even had one at the Westlake Mall over here.
There was a girl. Look her up. Look her up. She was a Playboy playmate, and her name was Stacy, Stacy Sanchez, but Sanchez with an S at the end. She signed autographs at Ingram Park Mall, and me and my horny friends from Holmes High School made our way over there.
She's blonde?
She had really curly hair. Now, I'm not asking you to pull up her Playboy.
No, I'm not doing that.
No, but if there is a decent photo, I guess she is a blonde now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I pulled up.
Can we pull up a decent photo?
Oh, there she is. Yeah. So let's go ahead and do this. Give me a second here.
So mind you, these photos are of her now, but back in the day when she was, the third photo that you see there where it says eBay in stock, she looked like that when she came by.
Here, I'm gonna go ahead and show
she came by
to the peeps.
Oh, she was amazing.
This one right here.
Yeah, she was amazing.
She cute.
She signed autographs for all of us. We're all from Holmes, and we're all trying to pretend like we don't know who she is. We're all 17 years old, holding these Playboy magazines that we either stole from Stop and Go or Diamond Shamrock.
Were they a little sticky? Don't lie.
Don't mind the stain. Can you slide around it?
Trying to give her the magazine. It will come off my hand. Jeez,
Stacy Sanchez. That name is still etched in my head. And the fact that I know that it's spelled with an S, like at the end, goodness.
She was, like you said, she was a nugget.
Yeah, she's a nugget, dude. Oh, she was beyond a nugget. I mean, she was diamond.
Diamond. Hey, you know what? That's a good thing that you just said there. So now that we're talking about diamonds, that's a good transition to Chris Leha here.
That was an alley-oop.
Alley-oop. That was a good assist right there. So we can go ahead and give a shout out to Chris Leha over here. So give me a second. Let me go ahead and transition. I got to go ahead and get this out of studio mode. There we go. Now I can go ahead and see everything. Here we go. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
MCS General Contracting, man, they do it right. Want a basketball court? They'll do it. You want a swimming pool? They'll work with your people when it comes to it. Slabs on homes, slabs on businesses, parking lots. I mean, they do so much when it comes to it. Big projects, small projects, everything in between. MCS General Contracting do a fantastic job.
They laid down that diamond hard concrete, man.
Yeah, and they cheer for the Astros. So you gotta put up with that. Chris Gonzalez bringing up the question: what about McCreeless Mall?
Bro, McCreeless Mall still standing, dude.
I mean, and it stands strong too. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. They've got like 4 Payless shoes there, but it's all there.
Payless shoes. They still got the Cinemark theater there.
Cinemark. Yeah, I used to hate going to Payless, man.
You didn't want your Pro Wings, bro,
dude. Every once in a while, my mom would want to take me to Payless, and I'd be like, I'd rather be barefoot.
What would they sell there? They would sell the Pro Wings. And what was the other brand that they had? They had the Shacks there.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you ever see that video? There was a video where they showed these models. They Payless tricked models into modeling Payless shoes, and they gave them away saying that they were expensive, and they gave it like a fake name, and they were all proud of what they were wearing. And what they didn't know was that they were actually wearing Payless shoes. It was like an experiment that they ran.
Social experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, give you an example. I've been watching the movie a lot on Amazon. Probably the worst thing about my separation these days, going through potential divorce and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is that I have to get a new Hulu and a new Amazon Prime.
Oh man.
So now I'm having to spend on that. So I was on Amazon Prime and I started watching that movie Air, the one with Matt Damon and Jason
Michael
Bateman.
Jordan docudrama.
Yes, yeah. Ben Affleck and all that. And so I went up and I signed up for my own Amazon Prime Video because the Saints were playing on a Thursday night. I had to do it.
Oh God.
And so I'm looking at it, and those Air Jordan shoes that came out from the 80s. Did you know that if you tried wearing them now, chances are you wouldn't be able to, because they were built so poorly.
Yeah, they hurt.
That they have like this this chemical that's inside of them that makes the shoes not last very long, and they were cheaply made.
Yeah, I mean they were just trying to put them out there. The allure with the Air Jordan was the color.
Yeah, you had the red, black, and a little bit of white,
because back then everything was white and black.
It had the stripes.
Yep.
The Adidas stripes or whatever the case may be. That's a good movie. That's a very good movie.
It was very good. I watched it on a plane ride, actually, when I was going to Disney, coming back from Disney.
Yeah. I
popped it on. I said, yeah, I'm going to watch this, man. So I watched it during the plane, and I'm over here watching it. And this creepy motherfucker that's across from me, he's watching it too. I'm like, bro, you want a headphone? You want me to go ahead and get the headphone splitter for you, bro?
Yeah. You want to take one of the buds?
Yeah, for real. It's like, at least buy me a beer or something, man.
That's funny.
You know how you get people looking at you and they're just watching, you're looking at your screen.
Yeah.
Like, come
I
on,
see what you're
man.
saying.
I'm over here
I see
minding
what
my
you're saying.
business. He's across the aisle from me, like two seats back.
Chris Gonzalez asking, is this the same video where they opened up a shop and told people it was a big designer and it was Payless? That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. And they had a bunch of celebrities and models out there. They were giving them away as saying that these are $600 shoes and $1,200 shoes, and they were really like $599.
$5.99. Oh no, it was at Disney that I was at. I was in Maryland in the summertime. I was at my niece's graduation, and when we're on the plane,
Yeah.
I was watching some movies, and Air was one of them that I had loaded up or I downloaded on my phone because you have the airplane mode on while you're up in the air, 10,000 feet up in the air. And then on the way back, I ran into Jason Minix, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were at the I guess it was the airport that they have over there in Maryland. He was getting on because we're both coming back to
Was it
San Antonio.
BWI?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one Baltimore.
Yeah. And we both did the same thing. We had the great minds think alike. As soon as he sat down and I sat down, we both ordered a beer at the same time.
Dude, I've never understood that, man. I've never understood drinking on a plane.
Hey, man, you know what? I always think, what if the plane crashes, bro? At least I want to have a beer before I go out,
Taking a look at tonight, again, the Texas Rangers could win it all tonight, their first World Series ever. First pitch at 7:03 p.m. against the Diamondbacks. Rangers are favored to win this game, a slight favorite at -115. So basically, Vegas thinks that Texas is going to win this game by about a run or so. But the Rangers have 3 chances tonight. But who they have Eovaldi going out there. And he's been pitching really well these days.
Hopefully he can bring it home.
This is the one you want because you don't want to have some middle reliever starting a game 7.
You don't want Scherzer out there on the mound to bring this one home for me. Come on now. Come on now.
7:03. You know what?
Wearing my Texas hat today.
This might be worth going to the Stout House for, my man.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what? Because last time I was there against the Astros, the closing game against the Stros, got trashed.
Yeah.
Army pants. I'll be there around 7.
Hey, maybe that girl be back. I love Hot Dad's girl be back.
Gross.
Hey, Thursday night football is going to be coming up tomorrow. You got the Steelers and Titans.
Dude, Will Levis.
Hey,
4 touchdowns his first game as a pro. He looked good.
That might be an interesting game to watch tomorrow. At least it won't be boring. It's not going to be like a Bears game that you're watching.
The 2 quarterbacks I liked going into this draft were Will Levis and C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud was number 1 for me. Will Levis was 2. Bryce Young, I didn't even have in my top 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And what has happened? Bryce Young has sucked ass. C.J. Stroud having a solid season.
Yeah, he is.
And Will Levis finally giving the keys to the car. And Will Levis, those weren't dink passes that he was doing. He was airing it out. And he's finally getting a chance to prove himself, man. It's good times. But hey, go Rangers tonight. See if they can bring it home. I'm going to be back on Friday to preview the weekend ahead when it comes to college football and when it comes to the
UTSA,
UT, and also the NFL as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking part today. That's Joe Garcia. My name's Mike Jimenez. This is the Alamo City Sports Cast. Later,
peeps.